Yes, we are already late, so we'll begin. Okay. Let's see if I have shared link in all the groups or not. Shared. Everyone got it right? Okay. So today we are starting our module number 3. Okay. So in this module number 3, we will learn how we can alter our table. Introduction I have given day before yesterday. Okay. After completing this, altering of the table, then we will see what are the different temporary tables. In temporary tables, there are two types. One is a local temp, and another is a global temp. We will see both of them, and we will also create that local temp and the global temp. Then we will jump on the table variables. We will see how we can create the table variables and why we are going to use those table variables. Okay. Then we will see the functions. In function, there are two types of functions. One is a system defined function. That means the select, insert into those keywords we are using, because those are the system defined function. And then we will see the user defined function. That means we will create our own functions for our own purposes. Okay. After completing the functions, then we will see what are different string functions. String functions are the system defined functions. And this is how our this model 3 will complete. Okay. So let's begin with the alter. Let me see my SQL Server Management Studio. Everyone has opened SQL Server Management Studio? Yes. Okay. So what the first thing you guys will do after opening SQL Server Management Studio? Connect to the database. Okay. So I will connect with my databases. I will write here new query. Okay. Use Chan underscore batch. What's my database name? Chan underscore SQL. Okay. So I executed this, and let's start working on this alter table. Okay. So suppose I'm having a table, this table, and this table is having ID column, name column, and the salary column. Okay. In the ID, I'm having 1, 2, 3. In the name, I'm having Dinesh, John, and Smith, and in salary, I'm having 0, 0, 0. Okay. And if you see my salary column, it is having not null constraint, and default value is given as a 0. Okay. So we cannot add a new column in existing table with not null constraint. Whenever we add a new column to a table, the column stored full init for all the existing rows. I will explain you this. Okay, existing rows. What the first rule is, while adding any new column in our table, the very first rule is that we cannot add a new column with not null constraint. Okay, suppose if I thought to add here new column as a pin code, then I cannot give constraint as a not null to this pin code column. Why I cannot give? Because I am altering my table, right? Already I am having some values in my table. So by default, it should take something, because whenever, suppose I am having this table and there are 3 records already present there. And if I had to add this new pin code column here, and if I give the not null constraint, then my SQL server will get confused. For these 3 records, which value should be given here. My SQL server will get confused if I'm using here not null constraint. So that's why whenever we are adding a new column to the existing table using this alter command, we will not use this not null constraint. We will always keep our column null. We can use not null constraint, but there is a condition that not null table should be followed by some default value. Got it? Why default value? So that our SQL server will understand that if there are no values present for these three records in the salary column or in the pin code column, by default it can take 0. So the first one is that we cannot add new column in an existing table with which constraint? Not null constraint. If I want to use the not null constraint, then I need to pass default value. Got it? Any doubt in this? Why I cannot use not null constraint? Because my SQL server will get confused. Because already some records are here, right? You can see 1, 2, 3 records are here. So if I'm using not null constraint, then my SQL server will not understand that which values he needs to pass there. So that's why if we are giving the not null constraint, then it should be followed by the some default value or it should be nullable. Got it? Yeah. So suppose I'm having a column ID and name. These two columns only I'm having ID 1 Dinesh, 2 John, 3 Smith. So if I'm giving salary, new column I'm adding as a salary, and if I'm putting it as a null column, that means if I'm not giving any constraint, now if we are not passing any salary for these three records, it will take null here. Okay. And if you want to pass some not null constraint, then we need to give some default value. So while adding this salary column, I have given default value as a 0. So that's why there is no salary present. So it took default value as a 0. Got it? So these 2 to 3 rules are very important while altering our table. Okay. In even interview, they might ask you, okay, can we give null, not null constraint while altering a table or while adding a new column to the existing table? Then you should answer it like, sir, we cannot add because our SQL server will get confused which value to assign for the existing records. And if he says that no, I can add, then you can say that yes, we can add, sir, but not null constraint should be followed by default value. Okay. So let's alter one table. We are having a table called as default test. Okay, let me view this table first. If I view my table, then you can see in my default test table, I am having ID 1, 2, 3 and name as a Dinesh null and no name provided. So what I want to do here, I want to add a new column called as salary. So how can we add? Start with alter table followed by the table name, and when we are adding a new column, simply write here add followed by the table name, then data type. If you want to apply any constraint like not null constraint, then write not null and pass default value, or if you don't want to add any constraint, then you can leave it like this. Got it? Okay. Yeah. But I want to store some value in the salary. So what am I doing here? Am I writing here not null? And I'm following default constraint as a 0. So if I execute this, commands completed successfully. And if I view my default test table, then you can see the salary column got added and default value it got as a 0. Understood? Any doubt in this? No? Please write. Please create this table. Online students, are you understanding?
Yes,
Sai,
sir.
are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, I may got left from the meeting. Okay. Online students, if suppose in between, I got out from the meeting, please text me. Okay. Text me on the WhatsApp, or you can unmute yourself and speak. I also have joined from my phone. Done? Any problem? No problem? Okay. So let me add one new column here, address. Okay. So add a new column. In the same table I'm doing it, alter table, default test. I'm trying to add a address column here with the data type varchar, and I'm passing character length 100. So do you think that I will be able to add this address column in my new table? Default test. Will it get added or not? Yes or no? Yes. Hmm? We can add it. Okay. Because if I'm not passing not null constraint means it is nullable. Got it? It can take null values. And let me view my default test table again. Then you can see I got the address as a new column and values are there, null values. Okay. Yeah. Write this too. Its classroom 10 door is open.
అప్పుడే
Okay, done. Shall we go ahead? Next, if you want to drop a column from our existing table. Now what we have done, we have added these two columns. One is the salary and another is a address. After that, you got to know that we don't have to add salary and address column in our table. So what we need to do now? We need to drop the table, right? So to drop the table also, we will use this alter table command. Okay. But before dropping also, there are some rules we need to follow. While adding also, we need to follow some rules. What are those rules while adding the column? First, we cannot give the not null constraint. Second, if we want to give the not null constraint, then it should be followed by some default value. And why we are doing this? Because our SQL server will not understand if we are passing the not null value, which value to be assigned to the existing records. Okay. Next, while dropping a column also, we need to follow some steps. The first one is for columns which do not have constraint, you can directly drop the column. Suppose in this default test table, for this ID column, if I don't have any constraint, this ID column is having only ID name followed by the integer data type, there is no constraint. And if I want to drop this ID column, I can directly drop this column. If any column is not having any constraint, then I can directly drop that column. Second rule, for column with constraint, you need to drop the constraint first and then the column. Suppose any column is having any constraint, then first we need to drop that constraint and then only we will drop that column. And third rule is that exception is a not null and identity. Exception is a not null and identity. That means if any column is having not null constraint and identity constraint, we can directly drop them. But if any column is having suppose primary key constraint, foreign key constraint, then unique constraint, check constraint. Then we need to drop this constraint first before dropping that column. And if any column is having not null constraint or defaulter constraint, we can drop them easily. Or if any column is not having any constraint, we can drop them without dropping the constraint. Any doubt in this? Shall I go ahead? Okay. Now I had inserted here address column. You can see in this address column, have I given any constraint? No, address column is followed by the data type called as varchar. There is no constraint attached. So can I drop it? Yeah, I can easily drop it. And to drop the column, I am having function called as alter table followed by the table name drop column. While adding column, we are not writing add column. While adding column, we are just writing add followed by the column name. But when we are dropping column, we are adding here drop column followed by the column name. Okay. So if I executed, you can see commands completed successfully. And if I view my default test table now, you can see address column is dropped. Got it? Yeah. Next. Now, here I want to drop my salary column. Okay, here I want to drop my salary column. And you can see when I trying to write like this, alter table followed by the table name, drop column, salary, it's not getting dropped. Why it's not getting dropped? Because it is saying in the error message, alter table drop column salary failed because one or more object access this column. Or here you can see the object df underscore underscore default t underscore underscore seller underscore underscore 0697 FACD is dependent on column salary. That means while adding this salary, we have given this constraint not null and default together. Now remember, I told here we can drop columns directly if it is having not null or identity column. Let me add here word as a or. Or if this salary column had not null constraint only, I could have dropped it easily. But it is having not null plus default. So I need to drop the constraint first. Okay. If my salary column, if it had default constraint, only default constraint, then I would have dropped it easily. Or only not null constraint, I would have dropped it easily. But there are two constraints attached together. So I need to drop the constraint first. And how can we drop the constraint? We need to check metadata. How to check metadata? There are two options. First option is select that table name and press Alt plus F1. Select that table name, press Alt plus F1. If I selected this table name and press Alt plus F1, then you can see there is a constraint attached to two columns. First column is a default on column salary and second column is a default on column name. Now which column I have to drop? I have to drop this salary column. So what will I do? I will copy this constraint name. I will copy this constraint name and I will drop that constraint first. Okay. For everyone, please select this table name, please press Alt plus F1, or even second way to get the metadata is sp underscore help followed by the table name default test. Okay, if I executed this, then also I will get the metadata. Now it is saying that sp underscore default test. Am I making any spelling mistake? Spelling is mistake. DEFAULT. Okay. Now if I execute it, then you can see I'm getting here constraint name. Everybody see, are you getting the same constraint name or different? Same, different. Okay, everybody will get the different constraint name. So we want to drop this salary column. So I will select the constraint that is assigned to this salary column, and I have to drop the constraint first. And to drop the constraint, I am having command alter table followed by the table name, drop constraint, and then we will copy paste here our constraint. Got it? Now I copied pasted my constraint. Now I'm dropping the constraint. If I dropped it, commands completed successfully. And if I drop my column now, you can see commands completed successfully. And if I view my default test table, you can see a salary column got dropped. Okay. So before dropping any column, if it is having not null or default or other than not null and default constraint, we need to drop that constraint first and then we have to drop the column. Got it? Write it here. Online students, are you understanding? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Done? Now for everyone, this default constraint is different. So if you try to call, just write on the, by seeing on the screen, you won't be able to drop it. So you have to open the metadata, and after opening the metadata, you can see what are the different constraints assigned, and then select that constraint name, copy it, and then write here in the drop. Got it? Now you can see I already dropped the constraint for this salary column, and I got my salary, I dropped my salary column, so I can't see any column name salary, and also I can't see any constraint attached to the column name salary. Got it? Yeah. Online students, are you understanding? Shalini, Pratiksha, two guest users, are you getting it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, great. If there is any doubt, please ask me, okay? Drop tables, we can selectly drop. We learned it at the very first. In the very first class, we learned how to use database, how to create database, how to create tables, and how to drop the tables. Done? Shall you go ahead? Okay. So next, we will learn alter a column. What we have finished till now? First, we learn add a column. Second, we learn remove a column. Now we are learning alter a column. Alter a column means if I view the metadata, you can see here in this metadata, suppose if I'm selecting my default test table, in this default test table, this ID column is having integer data type. As it is integer data type, so length will be of 4 and it's nullable. Okay. Name column is having varchar data type and length I am given 100. So suppose what happened in this ID column, my ID is surpassing 10 characters or the 10 digits. Okay, it's going till 12 digit because our company is too old company and now it's been 50, 60 years and we have achieved that, 10 figure marks in the employee ID. Now the new employee IDs are coming with the 11 digits. So can I, completely delete the old database and create new? No. What I need to do then? I need to alter this column ID, and I have to change data type from integer to big int. Got it? I have to change data type from integer to big int. And how can I do it? I can do it by using altering a column. Got it? So alter column, this table is used to change the data type and also to change the constraint. But by using this alter column, you cannot change the name of column. Remember this. Okay. In interview, they will ask you such tricky questions. Now you have learned by using alter column, I can alter the column. So you will feel that alter column is I can change name of my column. No, you can't change. Got it? By using alter column, you can change the data type, you can change the constraint, but you cannot change the column name. Remember this. This is a hot question asked in the interviews. Okay? Because sometimes when I conduct the interviews, I ask such basic questions to the candidate. Okay. I give more focus on store procedures and views, because when you will work in the industry, then other departments will come to you and ask permission to view that some tables or some data. Then I need to create the views there, because if I creating views, that means he will not be able to alter my any column, change my any value, and also while creating view, I can hide my some of the data. Suppose if I want to, I don't want to share my customers rate there, like for how many, for miles, how much my customer is paying to our company. If I want to hide that column, I can hide it and I can give it to them. So stored procedure views are, like a very practical things we will be working on day-to-day life, and that I am covering in our module number 5. Okay, that module number 5 is having lot of importance. Even 50% of interview questions will be asked on module number 5. Stored procedure, creating function, creating views, common table expressions. Got it? Okay. These are also important things because we need to change it, right? Yeah. So alter a column. Make sure that the data in the column clearly obeys the constraint or key rules that you apply. Okay, that means if suppose I'm giving the integer data type, then data should be stored in a integer format only. There should not be alphanumeric values present in the ID column if the data type is a integer. That's it. Second, I would like to add one thing from my end, that we cannot change table name by using alter column function. Got it? Okay. So let's alter a table called as unique test. We are having unique test column table. Do we have? Yes. Let me view this. My unique test table is having ID 1, 2 and null, and names are Dinesh, John and John here. Okay. So what I want to do here, I want to alter a column name, and if you see the metadata for my unique test table before altering this, Alt plus F1 will give me the metadata, and you can see in the metadata for my name column, data type is variable character and length is 100. Now suppose if you came to know that this unique test column, this name, in the name column, we are having maximum 20 characters. No one's name is going beyond 20 characters. That means we are losing space for each entry, almost 400 characters, right? We are wasting that space. So we want to change this length from 120 characters to 20 characters. Can I do it? Yes. We can do it by using this alter table. So I will write alter table followed by the table name. I am working on my unique test table. So I wrote here unique test, alter column followed by the column name, then data type varchar, and I will do it to 20 characters. Okay. And if I view my metadata again, then you can see the column is a nullable column. Nullable column means I can pass null values in it. But what I want to do here, I want to make two changes. First one, from 120 characters, I want to make it to 20 characters. And from null column, I want to add a not null. So how can I add it? Alter table followed by the table name, alter column, then column name, then data type followed by the character length. Initial character length was, you can see here 120 characters. Okay, so I'm changing from 120 to 20. And if you see null label, it is written here no means already it's not null. Okay, no means already it's not null. Okay, I'm keeping the same not null. And if I execute it, commands completed successfully. And if I view my metadata for my unit test column again, then you can see that character length got changed to 20 from 120. But this is how we can change it. Even if I want to pass some default constraint here, I can do it. If I want to give the default name, no name provided. If there is no name present, then I can give it. Okay, so write this example. And if there is any problem, please let me know. Is it done? Okay. Let's see the next column. I'm having not null test. Okay. So let me view my not null test. It's having ID 134 and name Dinesh null. And if I view the metadata, alt plus F1, then you can see the ID column is having integer data type. Okay, and name column is having varchar data type. Length of column is 100 and it's a nullable column. You can say nullable, yes. That means we can pass null values in it. So let me make it not null table, not null column, sorry. Name column is nullable. I want to make it not null. So what will I do? I will write alter table, not null test, followed by the table name, alter column name, let it be the data type. I am changing it from, I think initially it is having 100 characters. Let me make it 120 characters. And this table was nullable call table. You can see here. Nullable, yes. So I wrote here not null, so it became not null again. That means from now onwards, if I'm inserting values, okay. Okay. Let me pass some default value here. What's the incorrect syntax? It's correct syntax, right? Let me write here. Incorrect syntax near keyword default. Line 57, incorrect syntax. Okay, everyone, please execute till this not null. I will tell you about this default why it is showing the incorrect syntax. Execute till this. Write till this not null only and make this column nullable. Okay, the statement has been terminated because I already did this. Okay, I executed this twice. That's why. Write till here only. You will not get it. Which one? Okay, just a minute. Let me see. Okay, till here, are you guys able to execute? Cannot insert a value null into a column name, table SQL batch, not null test. Column does not allow nulls, update fails. The statement has been terminated. Okay. Okay. So let me make it here. Now remove not null and try to execute. Remove not null constraint and try to execute. Let it be as a null label. Okay. Look at here. Look at here. In this example, alter table unit test, if you view the metadata previously also before altering this column name and changing this varchar to 120, not null constraint was already there. So thing is that while altering table or while altering column in a table, we can change the data type. Also, we can change the values that it can take. But while making a null column to the not null column, we cannot add the constraint directly here, because what will happen, already we are having some records there, already there are, suppose there are some null records available, then our SQL will get confused which values to be assigned to the existing record, because suddenly we are applying that not null constraint to the whole column. So that's why while altering column, we can change the data type, we can change the character length, but we cannot change from null to not null. So to do that, you need to give the constraint separately. Okay. So this is a not null test. In my not null test, I'm changing the data type for name from varchar. Length was initially 100. I change it to 120 length. Okay. Now suppose if I want to add any constraint to it, because if I viewed my not null test metadata, if I viewed my not null test metadata, okay, you can see the varchar is nullable, means it can take the null values, and if I'm trying to make it not null, then if there are some existing records in this name column that are holding null values, SQL server will get confused. So to add constraint separate, we need to add constraint separately, not the along with this. Suppose if I want to add constraint to this name column as a NA, or I have to give the default constraint as a NA, then I can add it like this: alter table, not null test, then add constraint, then give the constraint name by your choice, any constraint name you can give here, and then followed by the constraint. Now this constraint name means it is getting stored in our system. You can see the same constraint name that we had given, df underscore not null underscore name. It is storing as a constraint name. That means I am giving here constraint name and then I am using the constraint. Got it? Here, when we are not passing any constraint name, while add creating a table, and that time we are giving constraint, then it will take by default constraint name. While dropping this constraint, we saw this was the by default constraint name. But while adding the constraint, we can give a name to the constraint. Okay. So df underscore not null name constraint I'm giving, and I'm adding the constraint default, and I'm passing value na for name column. So if now onwards, if I'm trying to add any records, and while adding records, if I'm not passing any value in my name column, it will take na as a by default value. Got it? So what is the takeaway here? Takeaway is that while altering a column, by using alter column, we can change the data type, we can change the character length, but we cannot change the constraint. Okay. If we want to add a new constraint, then we are having a separate syntax called as add constraint. Got it? Any doubt in this? Okay. So write this. Then we will learn how we can delete the records. Okay. So let's see the introduction for temporary tables, and we will learn how to create those tables tomorrow. Okay. Just we will see the basic things. Temporary tables. As its name indicates, why these tables are used? To store a data for a temporary time span. Okay. So whenever I'm storing any temp table, and if I viewed my database here, I'm getting option as a temp table. So whatever the temp tables that we are creating, it is having special provision to store in my database. Okay. So if I expand my January SQL, and here you can see database design tables. In the system tables. Okay, look at here. All the temporary tables that we are creating, all those tables will be stored in system database. If you expand system database, then there are four system database, right? First one is a master, model, MSDB and TempDB. So in this TempDB, we will be having a tables option. If you expanded this table, then here you can see there's a temporary table option. If I expanded this, then all the temporary tables that we are creating will be stored in this temporary tables. Where will be stored? Database, system database, in system database, temp database, in temp database, there is a temporary tables. Okay. And these temporary tables are used to store given tables for temporary storage. Okay, once I suppose if I created my temp table here and if I close my session, that temp table will get deleted. Got it? It will not be stored for a longer purpose. And why we will create these temp tables? Suppose somebody came to me and asked me to do some changes in my table. Now, while making changes in my original table, I want to just view first how these changes will look like. So what can I do? I can create all these changes in the and store in the temp tables so that I can view it first, and if it is running smoothly or if it is executing properly, then I can apply those changes to my original data or original table. That's why these temp tables are maximum times it is used. These temp tables are divided into the two types of tables. One is a local temp table and second one is a global temp table. Local temp table means, now if I have to give you one simple example, local means that is present here only. Now in the Bangalore, what is famous most? Like in the Karnataka, idli dosa is more famous, suppose. Okay. Now if you go to the north, idli dosa is not that famous. That means idli dosa is a local dish. Got it? Is it a global dish? Will you get this idli dosa in America? Will you get this idli dosa in the England? You will get it, but it's not the global dish, right? It's a local dish. The same way, local temp table means that is available in that particular session only, or that can be retrieved in the particular session only. Global temp table means that can be retrieved in the multiple sessions. So if I am adding here new query, one more new query, if I am creating any local temp table in this session, then I can fetch that table in this session only. I cannot fetch that table in another session. Okay. Global temp table means if I am creating a global temp table in this session 3, then I can fetch that global temp table in this session 1 and also in the session 2. Global means that is accessible to all. Local means that is accessible in that particular session only. So this is the theoretical part for temp table, local temp table and global temp table. How to create these local temp tables, global temp tables, we will learn in the next class. Okay. So tomorrow, everyone, we are having resume making master class at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I hope that everybody will join that class because I'm not going to repeat this class for your batch. Okay, for every batch I conduct one resume making, one LinkedIn and one Naukri building class. So we will be having tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Okay, do not miss this class. And this creating local temp table and global temp table, we will see it on the Monday. Okay, so I will share these notes with you guys. Just go through these notes. If there is any problem, let me know. Okay. Thank you so much for joining this joining this class.
Sir,
Have a good day.
sir.
एक minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, in the
Yeah, Shalini.
sir, we altered the not null test, no, sir. In that we added constraint default, not NA for the name, no, sir. The output you didn't show, sir. For me, it's not showing what I wanted.
For which one? This one?
Yes, sir. We changed it.
I executed. Now already I applied this default consent to this not null test, right? So if I
Yes, sir.
select it and if I view this, then you can see here constraint type applied, default on column name, and constraint name is df underscore not null underscore name. This constraint
Yes.
name I was using. You can see that constraint name and default constraint I was using. So you can see here default constraint on which column? Name column.
Name column. Yes, sir.
Got it?
Sir, but for the content, like in the name column, there will be some names, no, sir?
Now insert into this not null test.
Yes, so that's
Okay,
what
how
I'm
many
trying to
columns are
do,
there?
but
ID and name. So if you insert into not null test, yeah. In this not null test, we are having how many columns? Two columns, ID,
two
comma,
columns.
name. Okay. And if suppose I'm inserting values here, the spelling is mistaken here, insert into both. Select one. And if I'm not passing here any name,
Any name, then it should come as
writing here
NS.
unique. Insert values here, Shalini, you will get this not null constraint here. Okay, sorry, default constraint here. If I'm not inserting value in this name, I will get any value. Okay,
Any value. Yes, sir.
insert the values, you will get it. Thank you so much.
Sir,
Yes, Shalini, go ahead. Hello.
yes, sir. 1 second.
What they will do, they will pass different value. In test case